The mics are live. And hello everyone. Uh, welcome. I am your host, Matty, So Many Games, and this is So Chatty. We are here with some very special people. I am thrilled to introduce my guests. My first guest, she is from Castle Mac. Many of you watch, many of you love. Uh, It is Castle Mac Lydia herself. Lydia, thank you.
Thank you for
Woo!
having me. I'm happy to be here.
Woo!
Uh, One of the co-founders of Welcome to the Party. My friend Throck is here,
Hello! I'm very excited to be here today.
and independent author and a good friend Chase Irwin. Chase is here.
Hello. You probably don't know who I am. I don't either.
Well, you will. You will. Uh, hey folks, how you doing? We are here on another Saturday evening. This is the second show, or second official show, and still kind of, getting my legs under there, and we're just gonna kind of kick things around, see how they go, and have a chat. Mm, that's it. It's gonna be very tabletop-y, D&D RPG oriented because that is the community that we are all a part of and we love, and they love us back. It's a great community. God bless the tabletop Twitter community. Thank you. Okay. So let's go ahead and why don't we go ahead and start with each of you just giving yourself a little brief introduction, so the guests at home kind of um, get a little bit about who you are in case maybe they don't know you. We'll go ahead and start with Lydia. Ladies first.
All right, I'm Lydia. I play on a Twitch channel that is called Castle Mac. I play D&D there with my husband, who is Steven, his best friend, and his wife, Sean and Raven. And then our other friend, who's also named Sean, but we call him Coach because we found him as my daughter's YMCA coach. So now he's just Castle Mac Coach.
Oh, I love that.
It was a very random way to meet a friend.
I love that.
Sports team.
See now, and this is why I love shows like this. I love late night talk shows and stuff like that because you find out really interesting facts, that you just never hear. I love this. Throck.
Hey, sorry, I was muted because I was typing a tweet hyping this very show because that's how excited I am to be on it. Yeah, so I need to tell you about me and what I do. So hi, I'm Throck, Throckmorton, also known as Sean to some people, but there are so many Seans out there that I go by. I am one of the co-founders of Welcome to the Party on Twitch at Welcome Party RPG, where we teach people how to stream D&D with a pretty heavy emphasis on inclusion and diversity and equity in our gaming. And so it's a very much a learn to stream sort of channel, and it's a lot of fun.
It's a great channel. It's a great community. I recently found the Discord, and just the people I've met in there just blow me away.
Yeah, the Discord blew up, and we weren't expecting that. Like, we're like, we'll have like 50 people in Discord. I think we're almost up to 250. I think we're almost up to 250.
There are a lot of folks in that Discord, and it
Yeah.
is always hopping. That's for sure. um, and our final guest, Chase.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Chase. Chase Irwin. I hate my last name, but that's beside the point. I'm relatively new to RPGing. I've only been playing D&D only for about a year, coming up on a year. But I was so enamored with the story surrounding the campaign that I'm in and my character that I actually turned it into the subject of my latest book series called The Memoirs of Abel Mondragon. There's a cover right there.
There we
And
go.
we'll talk about that more a little bit later.
Awesome. Okay. So I like to start the show. We'll kind of go around asking some questions about the stuff that you're doing now, your current projects, things like that, and a little bit kind of insight into some of the things that you are doing. So, Lydia, I'll go ahead and start with you. Um, so I mean, this Castle Mac thing is like blown up like gangbusters. Uh, I had personally, like, I had run into, I think the first person I think I ran into on Twitter was probably Sean.
Mhm.
Um, and it all just kind of, added up from there. Uh, and before I even got to see a stream and whatnot, I could already tell that this was an amazing group of people. Um, how did how did this all start?
uh, like very organically. So Steven, our DM, my husband, Sean and Raven, and I had been playing for a year or more before we even started putting it on Twitch. We had played all the way through Rise of Tiamat, Horde of the Dragon Queen, that entire campaign, and then we were like, "Hey, like we have a bunch of webcams and equipment. Why don't we just stream it and see what happens? It seems like it would be fun." And it kind of just took off from there. I think we're pretty unique with what we have because we are actually sitting around a table rolling dice, and you don't see that a lot in
No.
our community. Unfortunately, so many people live so far away from each other that you play online, and that's awesome. But it's it was just my home group, and we're just filming it now.
That's
It's just
awesome.
like what I was doing Sunday night forever, and now like people just watch me do it.
That's got to be a totally mind-blowing experience to wrap your brain around that. Yeah.
Yeah, I I do love what it's done for us. I think that it has really made us push our RP a lot more because we know like people are watching. We really want to do a good job, and I think I know for me, I've gotten a ton better. And I think I can say that for pretty much everyone in our group. It's been so much fun to do it, and also just so beneficial, just getting to work on our skills and get feedback from people.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, it really is a different thing when people are watching you. You really kind of you go from like playing for the DM or for the group, and you kind of start playing for the crowd a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's there. It's always kind of there in the back of your mind, just thinking, oh well, you know, it's not just us. So yeah, that is definitely a big adjustment. Um,
Well, being able to see ourselves when we look back, it's so important that we're all engaging with each other and look engaged, and it just having that behind you, knowing that people are watching you do it, makes us engage more, which makes it be an awesome game for all of us. Like it just heightens everybody's experience.
yeah. Oh yeah. And sorry, I needed to do this. I forgot. I haven't been in Discord today, and I haven't gotten my glomps from Mets. And I'm sorry, Mets. I love you. Um, it's been a day. Um, the so okay, so this is all new for you guys. Though Throck, so you guys put together this community, you and Kimages, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. Put together this community. Welcome to the party, and this is also another another group, or I don't know, like a phenomenon that is happening right now that is gaining a lot of traction. It's gaining a lot of momentum. I don't know if that's the right word. At least that's what I see. Um,
I'm glad that's what it looks like.
at least it does to me. I think
Yeah.
it's it's really quite astounding when you see these groups kind of take shape and they start to form, and then all of a sudden they just kind of, they just start growing. And there's always a reason for it. There's something wonderful in the center there. Much like the phenomenon with Castle Mac, you guys are experiencing this too. How did this all come together? Like, how did you and Kim, uh, like, come up with this and decide that this is what you guys want to do?
Yeah. So I'm not muted, right? Okay, good. I tried to share a link for Soul. I'll DM it to you, Soul, if you want to come hang out at some point. I was talking with Kim, and I had tried a different experiment in role playing community building before that, and I felt like there wasn't really a space that I had seen that had kind of a focus on teaching people not just teaching people how to play D&D, but teaching people how to stream online, and then including that diversity and inclusion component to it, right? And so I was talking to Kim, and I'm like, I feel like my first vision was too broad and not focused enough, and we talked a whole lot, and she's like, well, what if we did something that was a little bit like one channel, and we have it be teaching people how to do this stuff? And that's kind of how it all came together. It was just a discourse between the two of us, and it turned into what, 7 to 10 games a week, and a kick in Discord. And I think one of the interesting things, though, is our one of the things, because I came from streaming by myself before, right, as like a video game streamer, and I see all these amazingly well produced and like really amazing D&D streams out there, and a lot of the people I'm working with are not going to be there to start, right? And so there's never been any expectation of growth with our channel, because that's never what it was there for before, and yet it's happened anyways, which is kind of crazy. Now it's a bit more incremental, and every show is going to have its own set of viewers, right? Like our best shows do 25 to 30. Some of our shows are more in like the 7 to 10 range, and that's fine, right? Because we're not trying to focus as much on viewership as giving people the skills to go off and like learn how to do it themselves. We have a couple of flagship shows, but it's mostly all about like teaching people the ropes for things like creating overlays and how do you use OBS, and then getting you out there and doing your first stream or playing on your first stream. And so it's a very different vibe, I think, from a lot of channels, and I think that's where it gets that uniqueness from.
That's awesome. And there's definitely, I really do love the focus on inclusion and diversity that is there, because I find it really beneficial for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Myself, and I'll say this as a 41-year-old gay man, I a lot of the terminology that's used today, um, a lot of the honestly, I sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying, because a lot of this is really new. And when you're an older man, you're like, oh, I'm set in my ways. I don't know, even though like, I'm very liberal. I'm very, like very forward in thinking and stuff like that. I'm still an older guy, and I still have that, time, where
Yeah.
most of my life, there were only 4 letters in LGBT, like, so, what I really love though is that being involved in that Discord alone, um, has helped me immensely, um, understanding the how important pronouns can be and things like that. And I just so I, as a personal to you and Kim and to everyone there, I thank you guys. It's really been a great environment for me, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, and I think there are a lot of folks in there probably appreciate it, even more. Especially, it's not easy to start streaming.
Oh no.
It's not an easy feat. Um, we were there in the beginning, and it was all kind of we're just we're just doing whatever because, we don't know. And to have that area where people can go and there are going to be people that are going to nurture them and teach them and stuff like that, give them a space to grow. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, and so I think there's two things I wanted to comment on there. I think the first is we're at a really interesting moment, I think, in tabletop gaming right now, where there's this conflux between like identity politics, which is a horrible way to put it, but between like the dynamics between gender and race and like breaking down these old barriers around like the old school gamers. Like you said you're 41, I'm 39. I started in AD&D, and most of the dudes who played during that time looked like me. But we're at a point now, I think, which is amazing, where anybody should be allowed to play the way they want, right? And it is galling to me on a regular basis to see some of the Twitter stuff that happens out there in the community that people maybe not even think is gatekeeping. But I think having places like Welcome Party where we are active agents for inclusion is important. And I think the second half of that is the teaching people how to stream, I think, is an important part of that, right? Because it normalizes and makes it okay for folks who maybe felt marginalized before to come forward and say, this is my face, this is me, this is my personality, right? Yeah. And I think giving people that opportunity is really important. And by the way, it's not really where we started with the project, but it's where we've ended up, and I love it, right? I love that that's who we are.
And that's, it's those happy accidents that happen, in life. So with, diversity and inclusion in mind, Chase, I want to talk about, so you have the second novel of the Memoirs of Abel Pendragon series that is going to be, I'm sorry?
Mondragon.
Mondragon, I wrote that wrong. Wow. Oh my God. And I mean, it's terrible, Matthew.
It's fine.
Anyway, so you have the second novel coming out. It's coming out as an ebook on Amazon on October 11th. Is that correct?
Yes, it's going to release for Kindle on October 11th. I'm hoping to have the physical book and the audiobook version coming out around the same time. I'm waiting on cover art from the very talented Tartan Kiwi.
Okay, yeah.
He worked on the first one. He's going to work on the second one, and for every book after that. I've already held him to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's going to be just about a month from now.
So how did so with the first novel, Captivity, we see Abel. He's a child. He's young. He and his brother are taken captive and brought into this crazy life. How did that all, how did that story begin, and where's it going in the next novel?
It came basically out of my development for my player character, which is Abel. My first ever D&D character. I finally, at the behest of my husband Tyler, decided to join his online D&D game, and I'm like, I don't have the slightest clue what to do. I don't know how to. I don't know any of this, and he was like, "Well, just do what you feel like." And one of my favorite TV shows as a kid was The Secret World of Alex Mack on Nickelodeon.
Okay.
And it's about this girl who gets in a chemical accident, and as a result is able to turn into liquid and shoot electricity from her fingers and do telekinesis. And I was like, if anything, I'd like to have a character sort of like that, who had these powers thrust upon them. They didn't come by them naturally. And Tyler said, that's a good idea. Just build off of that, and we'll bring a story to the DM and see if he thinks it can work. And our DM, Joey, was very open and willing to listen to my ideas, and he guided me into where I could and could not kind of go within the constructs of the 5e structure.
Okay.
And then I set about writing my introduction to the group, and it took about an hour. It turned into about 4.5 pages long, and it was just this super long monologue of his backstory.
Okay.
He was living with his brother. They got abducted. His brother was killed. The captors started testing these potions on him, and they tested so many potions on him that the powers that were supposed to be temporary started to take a permanent hold of him. And it just, even after I wrote that monologue, the ideas still kept coming in my head. And I had gone through a 7-year period of writer's block up until this point, and the floodgates just opened. And from there, we have the first book. And it didn't stop after I published that one in February. And I've been writing on the second one, subtitled Echoes of Demons. And that'll come out next month. It continues right on from the end of the first book. Not to spoil anything, but he is rescued from the clutches of this group at the end of the first book, and it carries on right from that moment into his first big adventure.
Awesome.
Can he turn into a water puddle like Alex Mack could?
He can indeed. It's not really it's not really discussed very much, but it is kind of like it's like an undiscovered power.
I love that show.
One. And it's gonna have the turning into liquid turns into a big plot point somewhere in the middle of the second book.
Awesome. So I would like to circle back, and let's go ahead and do some group chat.
Group chat.
And we'll go ahead and get started. We have a question from the chat room. Mets Girl is curious, what is your favorite class to play?
Are you just ignoring my question? Because I'm a little...
Okay.
I was obviously first in stack. And I'm sure Mets won't mind.
I don't.
Does it hurt though?
I don't.
Does it hurt to be that awesome?
I don't know how to answer that question. It's just, you guys are really sweet. I'm just a normal person. Yes. Who just has a talk show. That's it. Anyway. Okay, great. So, Throck, thanks for making me blush and be all nerdy.
I'm here to serve with you. That's what I do.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So favorite class. Who would like to start with that?
I'll start.
Okay.
Cleric.
And that is why you were the first one I asked from Castle Mac, because we got that cleric connection, you know?
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
I think when I started my Tuesday character, they were like, "Okay, yeah, you can play, but you cannot be a cleric."
Yeah, I kind of.
I'm a paladin.
Yeah. Oh well, you know.
Which is like a cleric with a sword. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, fine.
But it's it's okay, because I've played a lot of clerics, and
Same.
I love them.
What's your favorite cleric flavor?
Well, I think that has definitely changed a lot. I was always the type that really enjoyed the kind of the life type cleric, that
yes.
It was a good
life
fighter, but it was really he was a healer. He was about that life, and oh wow, that came out.
Yeah,
it's about that life. And but since I've been playing a grave cleric, I kind of love the grave cleric.
Grave clerics are so awesome. Just the lore and what you can do to your story is just so cool.
And if it wasn't for, because I mean, honestly, he started as a war cleric, and I just thought it was interesting that it was a kobold that was a war cleric, But then it was like, of course, my dungeon master Quinn, aka Solomon, he's like, okay, well, you're going to be brought back to life by the Raven Queen, and you're going to be. How do you feel about being a grave cleric? And I was like, all right, sounds great. I don't know any of this because I don't know the realms.
Being able to cast Spare the Dying at range is crazy powerful.
That and getting able to like knock out crits.
Yeah. And like max healing if somebody's at 0.
Yeah. It's yeah. I love clerics. Sorry.
I'm a cleric fangirl. Okay, I'll stop. What's y'all
I know it's terrible. Yeah, I love them, and yeah. So, Chase, do you have a favorite class?
Not really. Only because this is again the first character played. We've classified him as sorcerer.
Okay.
So that's all I know. But based off of watching my other players play in the game, I would have to say Paladin might actually be the one I'd like to go for next, because some of our Paladins. Tools of the trade deal some pretty hefty damage.
Oh no, yeah, you can do a lot of damage as a paladin, and there are a lot of benefits to playing a paladin. I
roll a crit and then throw in a smite.
Right?
Absolutely. And in this last session that we played, my character took about, I want to say 70, 80 points of damage. Or no, the paladin took 70, 80 points of damage, and he just refracted it back on and killed the guy.
Well, yeah, that sounds pretty bitchin'.
Go big or go home.
Throck, I'm sure Bards. You've got a great answer to this question.
Bards. I love bards.
Of course.
I've always loved bards. I love bards. I love playing bards. I love role-playing bards. I love bards. And bards are really good in 5th edition. I love them.
They're really
I will write out limericks for my spells. I have written songs of revolution and sung them on stream. I love bards. I love them. Yes.
No wonder you and Steve are friends.
Yep. And they're great controllers, right? Like you can either play them as a dex fighter or you can play them as a controller. I prefer to play them as controllers and like measures and things like that. And I love controlling the battlefield and being the guy who's like, I'm going to drop Hypnotic Pattern. And all 12 of you guys over there, you're not going to move until I decide it's time for you to move, right? Like I love being the measure in D&D because you get to control the battlefield. And so I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever really seen it that way. I haven't really gotten to play a bard quite yet in 1st edition. No, I haven't. But I did play one in 1st edition AD&D.
Yeah.
And that was like the one campaign where we actually played a really long time, and I actually leveled a 1st edition bard like 7th level fighter, 7th level thief, and like 14 levels in bard. I think it was pretty crazy. And that's
back when multiclassing was better.
Yeah, it was really hard, but it was also hard to do back then. Now bards are like a very interesting, well thought out, deep class that stacks right up there with every other class, I think.
Yeah.
And I think especially the different types of colleges that are available in 5th edition now, I think definitely gives you a huge range.
Yeah, I normally go lore. Sometimes I'll do swords, but normally I keep it with lore because then you become a skill stick. And so, because you have to, I think the difference is between a bard and a lot of the other classes. I had the same problem with warlocks to begin with too, is with bards and warlocks are my other favorite class. So I like the complicated ones a little bit, is you have to kind of search for what they're good at, right? Because a first time reading of warlocks, you're like, he gets to cast 2 spells a day. That sucks. Like throughout his entire career or whatever. And like, but when you really like dig into their powers and you dig into the way that they scale and what they can do, and like how you can tweak them to be amazing, essentially combat casters. Those 2 classes, I think, give you a lot of depth that like you don't get, I think, with some of the other classes. And maybe it's just that I like playing classes that start out as a bit more of a puzzle. And I think bards and warlocks both start as kind of a puzzle, right?
I like celestial warlocks.
Yeah.
Because they're healers.
Yeah. I do too.
Well, you just like healing. Yeah. So why don't you like bards? Bards can heal.
I know, that is
I
one
like
of the
bards
reasons
when they
I
heal.
like bards, because they still have like those healing spells, and I'm like, I always like click those healing spells, and
Yep. I never take healing spells.
Oh god.
Well, sometimes I'll take healing word, but like
I am playing in a game where I'm playing a wizard for like the first time in forever, and it is so weird to not have healing spells. I'm like, oh,
I hate them.
I know. Oh my god, I know.
I hate wizards.
Oh.
As a DM, as a player, I hate wizards. Like either way, I actively dislike them.
Wow.
But,
wow.
Yeah.
I prefer sorcerers to be like a full-on like magic-y spellcaster. I'd rather be a sorcerer.
Yeah. Well, it's because there's a problem with D&D 5e, right? You outscale bounded accuracy. You just outscale it, and casters outscale it more than anyone else. Is that like your ability to affect something should increase at a rate equal to things that are of a similar CR to you, right?
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? And wizards and other spellcasters outstrip that pretty heavily. And I'm going on a diatribe now, but one of my issues with high level play in 5e right now is that the game works really well up until about level 11, and then the combat works really well up to level 11, and then you really have to kind of start futzing with things.
I mean, just pull a Steven and throw Tiamat at him.
Right? Yeah, just throw a Tiamat. Let's see our 28. They have 5 heads, and yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah. And I hate Hold Monster. I just hate it. The only reason I'm saying that is because I'm used on a fucking homebrew monster of mine today in a game. And I can't. Oh, God. Every time, man. I should just give them all immunity to charm effects or so. Anyways, whatever.
So our next question, it came from Soulbear RPG, but that would be Josh the intern. No, I'm just kidding. It's Quinn. It's Quinn. Quinn is asking, if you have a favorite D&D setting. Now this could be maybe a question that's not quite. I mean, if Chase is only played the one character, probably the one setting. I'm curious, Lydia, have you played other settings outside of the realms?
Well, I played in like a homebrew setting before.
Okay, yeah.
And then of course Barovia.
Yeah, and that's definitely technically, is another setting. It is. It really is. At least.
I really loved playing in Barovia. I don't know why I'm like this, but I really love like the dark and twisty, like morbid. Like I want to play a game with I want to play like the Blood Plague. Like I want some like super messed up like.
You want grimdark.
Yeah,
you want grimdark. You want to play Warhammer Fantasy is what you want to play. That's what you're gonna do.
But I want to do it, and then I just want to be the healer,
Right. Yeah.
I get that. There was this definite satisfaction of being a cleric in Barovia. That's for sure. Knowing that like your best damaging spell is a guiding bolt and radiant damage, like
guiding bolt is the shit. I love that spell.
Love it. Guiding bolts is my crack, and if I can crack the code of getting, I'm trying to actually make a shirt. I'm making a T-shirt with the guiding bolts.
I'm gonna buy it.
It's just a matter of getting the guiding bolt right so that it doesn't look like a sperm.
Yep.
Is the code
Even
that
if it did, I'd buy it. It's fine.
I am trying to crack. I've been and I've been talking this to my friend Joy about, and I was just like, "What do you think of this?" She's like, "Yeah, it's close, but it still looks like a sperm." So, you know, um, yeah, one of these days it'll work.
I'm excited for that day.
Well, this is a oh, I'm sorry, Throck. We didn't get your answer to that question.
It's complicated.
I have a feeling it would be.
Yeah. So my problem is it depends on the day, right?
Okay.
There's parts of Everon I love. I love Planescape. My problem is I weave Planescape into everything. Like I just love I love spell jamming, essentially is what it comes down to, right?
Okay.
And like I don't care too much about Sigil, but I care about like the traveling through spaces fantasy adventures I think is sweet. But really I've been reading like the last year, I have spent a lot of time reading modern fantasy authors, right? And it's just brought me back to the fact that I love the grimdark, man. I love urban like Victorian-esque urban campaigns that aren't steampunk, right? But it kind of have that sort of like feel to them. So like Blades in the Dark, which is a little steampunk, but like that sort of feeling. And then I also really like the old world from Warhammer Fantasy. I love it. It is probably my favorite fantasy setting in a role-playing game. If I had to go for a specific D&D fantasy setting, I love Forgotten Realms because it's in everything. It's like everything happens there. You can just point at a place and say, "Hey, look, it's Thay. It's murderous red wizards looking to sacrifice everything for some god." Or like
you're talking my language now.
Right. I haven't watched Penny Dreadful yet, Soul, but it is on my list. Peaky Blinders actually is what got me originally into Blades. But yeah, so it's much more about the flavor of the setting to me, and I like grimdark, but I also like heroic high fantasy. So it really just depends. It depends. Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I don't know. If I was going to answer this question, sorry, it's Dragonlance. Sorry, love it.
Dragonlance is fine. I mean, and I don't mean, at least you didn't say Greyhawk, right?
Say what?
Greyhawk.
Oh, hey, I have nothing against Greyhawk. I don't know Greyhawk. I just know, I came from first edition, so... Yeah. Like that was one of the only settings, that was set up for first edition. There was Dragonlance, and then we had the Oriental Adventures, which was a little racist.
A little cultural tropes. Yeah, a little bit.
But it was a great book, though. Oh my god, I loved owning that book. But no,
allow me to say there's an amazing Twitch channel out there that does Greyhawk, and this was not anything against them. They're amazing human beings. It's just the setting is not my jam. That's all.
I don't know anything about it, truthfully. It just seems like I'm never going to be able to know anything about it too. I don't know why. It just feels like so daunting to me.
I think that with any setting, because there are a lot of the settings that were birthed out of second and third edition, or even like I guess I skipped third and fourth. I never played any of that. I only played Dark Sun in second, so
I don't know if I could do like a full-on Dark Sun game just because I'm always a magic user.
Yeah. About that.
Yeah,
you don't want to be a cannibal halfling?
No.
The gnomes are cannibals.
No.
Oh, Dark Sun is but Utilitas and Shan brought something up, and hi Shan, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here.
Hi, Shan.
Brought up they're both in Greyhawk campaigns right now and really enjoy them, and that's awesome, right? Like, and that's, you should find your fun, right? And great DMs can make any setting great. And if you're having fun, that's what matters, right?
I want my fun to be a plague and death and dim, dark, just horror.
Yeah,
me and you have got to get together on this plague game.
I'm working on a Warhammer Fantasy campaign. You should play in it because it's exactly what you're describing.
Yes. I'll be your cleric.
I have to give props to the DM of my game, Joey. He has been able to create a story basically 100% homebrew, but there's a little bit of everything. There's been some swashbuckling going on. There's been a fighting tournament that's going on. I think he's planning on taking us to Barovia for Halloween. But he has been able to like fuse the best bits of every campaign that he knows and turn it into this one woven gem. So yeah, totally. The DM makes or breaks the game, and he makes this game.
I loved Curse of Strahd. Our Curse of Strahd campaign was like, I will always look back on that and just be like, that was the happiest D&D I've ever played. And that's like a weird statement, but I do have to say that we've started Dragon Heist 2 weeks in now, and it's so much fun being like a lighthearted character now. like playing with people that are like, you know, smiling and it's okay.
Yeah, I definitely know what you are saying. It's funny. When we were playing in Curse of Strahd, it was just like, oh my god, everything's so dreadful and all this stuff, and it really starts to weigh on you a little bit. I think after a while, it definitely started to weigh on our DM. But it was like, you get out of there and you're like, oh, this weight is lifted, and it's like, okay, no. It's, you know, things start going bad. It's just what D&D's about, and and then this weird thing happens. You go, I miss Barovia. I want to play in another Curse of Strahd game. It's like, kill me now. Okay, this is a great question for the group. So this is from Cleric Thea, also known as Peasant Chips on Twitter. Haven't seen you for a while, Chips. Good to see you. Thank you for dropping by. Her question, character you'd like to play in the future, and I will throw this at Chase because we haven't heard much from you, Chase. I know this conversation took a turn.
I'm green. I know. Yeah. I'm a greenhorn, so I don't have much historical stuff to talk about. Also, hi, Peasant Chips. He's in my group, my D&D group. So I figured that question would be lobbed at me first.
Yeah, and I think that's great. Yeah.
And I have to say, I want to play his character. His character in our game is a tiefling. I want to say thief. He's probably going to shout at me for saying thief. Rogue. There we go. Because I mean, anytime we need someone to sneak around, jump around, and shank people, does it, and he does it good. I don't think he's ever rolled a nat 1 as that character, and if he has, he's still succeeded. So yeah, definitely.
Rogues are one of those classes, I think. Early on, in first edition stuff like that, they were thieves. That was the name of the class: thief, assassin. And it was,
now those are just all the flavors of rogue that you can be.
Yeah, and I didn't really play them in first edition, and now it's like I want to play one, and every time I join a group, there's already one or two. Like we have 2 in our Wednesday game, 2, but no cleric. Yeah, so I'm not bitter.
Yeah, you should be.
I'm okay. I'm just hoping that this one shot, Throck, I call Rogue.
You can be rogue. I will even run D&D to make sure you can be a rogue.
I love you. I love D&D.
You don't mind being like a kobold rogue, do you?
I love kobolds.
Because I think I'm going to do a kobold heist game. Where it's a bunch of
Oh
kobolds.
my god. Castle Mac did a kobold game, and it was ridiculous. We put it out on a podcast. Our friend Ricardo makes it onto a podcast. Yeah, I'll
writing this down.
It's hilarious. Like I listened to it, and normally I hate listening to myself, and I was like laughing at it. I was like, oh my god, we're great. Our friend Lindy, Laugh Love Lindy, came over for the second half of it, and she was just fantastic. Like, she was so funny. Her and Raven were just killing it. It was so fun.
I love that.
Yeah, because you can just be insane with them.
Oh my god. I was a rogue, and I was just like looting like my friends, their friends, anyone. It was so fun. At one point I just had like so much gold, and I was just like burying it wherever I could.
Yeah, I think trying to get into the mindset of like a traditional kobold is going to be really interesting, because I mean I've been playing a neutral good kobold for that won't call himself a kobold, only calls himself a dwarf dragonborn. For what, 7, 8, 9 months now? Oh my god, what month is it? Oh geez, okay. 8 months?
It's September.
Yeah. So I'm always playing like a good character who is, always concerned about other people and is very emotional. God. I want to play that kobold, that squirrely, kobold. And a rogue, a kobold rogue. Oh yes, I want to do that. I want to do that.
It's so fun.
Oh my god. Yeah, and like a few levels would be great. Yeah, let's go. Oh, I am so excited. So
what was the question again?
Character you'd like to play in the future.
Oh. Can I say Commander and Rune Priest from 4th Ed should be brought into 5th Ed? Because they're cool, and we need to be playing more with states. That's just me, though. Yeah.
I can't comment because I don't know 4th edition.
Yeah, Commander and Rune Priest. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know it. I'm not familiar.
Okay.
And I've heard good and bad things, mostly negative things, I guess, from
about 4th.
Yeah.
Haters gotta hate, man. 4th is not
I know
that bad.
it's like there are folks that love it, there are folks that hate it, and then I think there are folks that didn't play it. I don't know. There's not a lot of middle ground there.
It's weird. Well, it's because it's not classic. I don't know how deep down this hole we want to go. But it's not classic.
We really don't need to go down that hole. But it's like, I get it. It's like it was like they tried to make it a video game to appeal, and I don't know. To me, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. It's all good. I'm not gonna play it, but I wouldn't stop anyone else from playing it, because I'm not that kind of guy. I'm an equal opportunity, whatever. And but I love 5th edition. I love it. So
it's my favorite edition so far.
It's so good. Yeah. Anyway, Lydia, what about you? Future.
Well, I don't know. What was the question?
Future character you'd like to play?
Oh, probably an elf cleric, I think.
An elf cleric. Really?
That's so wrong.
No. Honestly, it's like I've gotten in the habit with D&D Beyond. of sitting there making backup characters for my games.
It's bad luck. Don't do that.
No, I have like 24 of them.
I have a lot of characters built in Beyond, but a lot of them are like that I'm just keeping around from one shots, and I just can't. I don't have the heart to delete yet because I just love them. But Steven killed them. By the way, our anniversary is next week, and I can't believe we've made it 9 years after he's killed my characters so many times.
That is love.
Mm.
That is true love.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I would like to do here is we are getting near the end of our hour. So we'll go ahead and start to wrap things up. What we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and pop over to our to the show's exit screen. And this is going to put up some links for you guys and everything like that. But we're going to still be there. We're just going to be smaller. So let's go ahead and do that little transition now. This is our little thank you screen. Oh, there we are. Hey, everyone. We're still here. And I would like to thank the guests for being here. But before we do that, before we close out, let's go ahead. We'll have everyone tell where you can be found on the internet. Also, I would like to bring up, because it was mentioned, Welcome to the Party is putting on a charity stream on the 28th and 29th of September. They are, and hold on, I think I did this. Poof. I have to put that in chat. Duh. Okay. Again, second episode, folks. I'm still working here. Oh, there we go. There's going to be a charity stream. Go ahead and follow Welcome Party RPG. And the first one starts off that Friday at 12 noon Eastern. And it's going to be run by Throck. And yours truly is going to be a player in that. So, and yeah, the charity goes to Trans Lifeline, which is a very important charity. It helps trans individuals that need help. They're there, and it's an amazing charity. I've after hearing about it from Welcome Party RPG, I started to look into it, and I've just really kind of fallen in love with them. And I've been basically setting up all of my LGBT related stuff in my store. Any sales, half the profits go to Trans Lifeline for the next month, and I'm a big fan. And oh, yep, there's the Rainbow Dirty 20. There you go. And what am I trying to say here? Oh, and I haven't sold that many shirts, so that's okay. I'm still going to donate.
When you get that Guiding Bolt shirt out, I'm all over it.
Yeah, I'm going to still donate plenty of money to them because they're a great cause. But yeah, buy a shirt, help some great people. And then before we also close out here, Chase, you are now writing with Loresmith, and Loresmith is putting out they're called Dungeon Discoveries card decks, correct?
Yes, Dungeon Discoveries. They're already available on pre-order from loresmith.com, but they are launching an official Kickstarter, I think this coming Friday, the 21st, where you can pledge money, help us get this treated better. We're coming out with 2 decks to begin with. One is called Curious Treasures. The other one is called Fumbled Searches. You draw a card, and it's got a listing of 4 descriptors and 4 items, and you can put them in whatever combination you want, or you can draw 4 cards and make your items that way. But there's over 50,000 different combinations per deck.
Wow.
That will help a DM, fill a dungeon that would otherwise go empty. Instead of saying you find nothing behind this door, you can find something.
Awesome.
So those 2 decks are starting the series. The Kickstarter will include a possible third, yet to be determined.
Okay,
But,
so like a stretch goal kind of.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so you know, check out Loresmith on Twitter. You can go to their website, loresmith.com, and find information on these decks. I was looking at them this week, and yeah, they look really bitchin'. And yeah, um, I don't know if I want to get into another Kickstarter. I'm already on a few, but we'll see. I'm a sucker for
And
stuff
there's
like
also
this.
Patreon for the Savage Dawn campaign setting that they
Okay.
have. They're wanting to hire a writer to be on staff so that we can continue to expand that game. And you can always join their Patreon for $1 a month.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Um, my problem with Patreon is when I started going there, I started doing like the high. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you $5 and then you $5, and I give a lot of people $5 right now, and or around there, and it's just like, so one, I feel bad when I go on there and give a person $1, and then two, um,
Once you have to retract the subscription.
and I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I try my best. I give as much as I can. I spread the love. That's my thing. Um, but so we're gonna wrap things up. So go ahead and we'll go ahead and go back to ladies first. Go ahead and tell everyone where you can be found on the internet and what you're up to.
Okay, I am Lydia again. You can find me on Twitter at CastleMacLydia. You can watch me on Twitch on Sunday nights and Tuesday nights, both at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and that is twitch.tv/CastleMac. I can be found various other places on the internet, but mainly Tuesdays, Sundays, 7:30. Sundays we're doing Dragon Heist. Tuesdays we are doing Chronicles of Peril, where our DM Sean is taking adventures written by people in the community. He's pulled them for Twitter, trying to get adventures, and he's running them with us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I love that Steven and Sean are very different in their DM styles, but they're awesome. They're awesome. Yeah.
They're real life best friends.
And it shows. It definitely shows. So Thruck, where are you on the internet and what are you up to?
Hey, yeah, I am Throck at Throck Plays on the tweeters. You can find me at Welcome to the Party on Friday nights, running our new Dungeon Heist campaign. Saturdays at 4:30 Eastern, running our Storm King's Thunder. It used to be Storm King's Thunder. It's now kind of homebrew game. On the Forefronts on Sundays at 8 p.m., doing a 4th Ed game because 4th Ed is fun.
Oh,
and then,
man.
Exploding Dice on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. doing it's the Daubers. It's another D&D 5e game. Yeah,
awesome. And Chase, where can we find you on the internet and what are you up to?
All right. You can find me on the tweets at ChaseXLibris. ChaseXLibris.com is also my official website there. Able Mondragon Volume 1 Captivity, currently available at Amazon and iTunes and Audible.
I did that too.
The second volume, Echoes of Demons. Thank you for putting that link out there. The second one comes out in October. You can also now ask your local bookstore to carry it. Amazon has loosened up their chokehold on independent publishers and will now distribute to local booksellers through their distribution channels. So if you prefer to shop local, ask your local bookseller to find it, and they shall obtain it.
That is awesome.
And of course, Loresmith, I will blog and tweet and Facebook for them. So loresmith.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I really appreciate this. I hope you had a good time. It's like I said early on, this is still new. I'm still getting my legs under me when it comes to this and figuring out what we're doing with this show. Um, but basically, it was really just trying to get some of the most amazing people that I have met on in the Twitter verse and through Twitch and Discord and things like that. But taking this community and just being able to like grab a few people at a time, sit down, have a chat, and stream it just for shits and giggles. Um, because I love to talk to people, and it's so much nicer to talk than it is to type. You know, at least
Agree.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. This was so much fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm used to typing all day, and it's nice to actually have an outlet where I can actually communicate verbally.
Yeah,
In a
this was
different way.
great. I had such a blast. Thank you for having me on.
Oh,
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
gosh,
It's
honor's all mine.
I love you. This has been great. I love you, man. Thank you so much for having me. I was just giving you poo. I'm sorry.
Oh, Frog, I love you too.
Yeah.
Well, folks, obviously, if you found me here, then you probably know where to find me on the internet. So many games, pretty much anywhere. And yeah, my shop is open. The website is done. So Nerdware is mine, and it's open. And
Woo!
I just added mouse pads today. I don't know.
I don't have one.
I'm adding product as we go, and I just added 20 new mouse pads, with my art on it. So you can check it out at sonerdware.com under accessories. Yes.
Hopefully, coffee mugs and pint glasses next.
Yes. There is a long list of things that we're going to be adding, and there are going to be some that are going to be like that I'm trying to do some special twists on. I have an idea for a line of journals that will be very D&D related. Things like, the Journal of a Mad Wizard or something in that sense. There are things piping in my brain. It's just I think I have to slow down and stop doing so much to let those ideas flow. But
Yeah.
I was really good about that, and then all of a sudden something snapped, and I was like, I'll play another game. Okay, I'll do a store. Okay, I'll do a stream. It's like,
How it happens. Getcha.
I'm just blessed that I have a wonderful husband that that doesn't mind me doing this crazy shit, because he loves me. Uh, I guess I don't know. I don't know why he puts up with me, but anyway. Check out these beautiful people on the interwebs, and next week at this time, I will be joined by Jen at the Bat Clam, Chris at Snickle Socks, and David at Murdered Dice. Another trio of some of my most favorite people in the world. I am blessed and excited, and thank you all. And we're going to go ahead and raid Soul Bear RPG, because that is my home away from home.